All right. Well, welcome everyone to our, I think, final alumni rebound session. We have another great alum with us. So I'll allow her to introduce herself and we'll get started. So welcome and go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, what you majored in, when you graduated, where you are now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tinadeg Afful, and I majored in business management at JMU. And I currently work for S&P Global in Charlottesville, Virginia.
And let's just start there. So how did you get that job? How did that work out? Did you have it before you graduated? Tell us all about that.
So unlike most of my colleagues in the College of Business, I got my job way later after graduation. So I graduated in May and then got the job in October. And I applied for the job in September. So it was actually very quick and went through 3 interviews.
And then what did you do then from graduation until this job happened? What were you doing? How are you keeping yourself occupied?
Yeah, so in the meantime, I was applying for jobs before I graduated. And then I had job offers that I didn't really want and was still looking for the perfect job. Now I know the perfect job doesn't really exist because when you graduate, you're not really sure what you want to do, even though you think you get there and you're like, wow, this is not what I thought. But in the meantime, I worked for Amazon and I was a warehouse fulfillment associate. And so for example, if people ordered stuff online, I would go and pick it and then package it and then send it out.
And then thinking about where you live now and everything like that. So did you move? I'm trying to think about from graduation till now. Did you move to Charlottesville originally? Did you live at home? Talk about your living arrangements from graduation until now, all the different places you lived. If it was only one place, that's fine. Just give us the full picture there.
Yeah. So I graduated in May and my lease ended in July. So I stayed in Harrisonburg till July and then moved to Delaware with my aunt. And that's where I worked for Amazon from that time till January. And then this job started in January and then moved here.
Okay, so you've only lived there in Charlottesville since January.
Yes. Yeah.
Got it. And then living alone, living with friends, roommates.
Yeah. So I was surprised to learn this. The apartment prices in Charlottesville it's ridiculously expensive. So I have a roommate. I live with a roommate.
Okay.
Who is a grad student at UVA.
And then how did you find them?
So it's random. Just like my apartment in Harrisonburg, I had random roommates and did the same thing again. And I've always been lucky with the random arrangements. Have a great roommate.
Got it. Okay. So then talk about, I thought what you said before was really, really important. You turned down some jobs.
Yes.
And everyone probably was saying, what are you doing? It's a job. Why don't you just take it?
So, yeah.
Talk about your thinking about what went into the decision to turn down some jobs.
Yeah. So for some of the roles, one thing, I think a big mistake that I made was just applying for jobs. I'd look at the description real quick and be like, I think I can do this. But then I would get the job and sit down and think no, you actually don't know this. For example, if I work in finance right now, but some of them were detailed finance and I did not major in finance. And so if they ask me these questions, how would I do that? I would struggle in these roles. And with some of them, I feel like the employers were not being honest. The recruiters will tell you it's one thing and then you'd ask a question and then it will turn into another thing. And I just did not feel, secure in that. And so I wanted to make sure that I, accepted a role where I knew what I was getting into and knew that, there was a chance that I could do well.
Okay. So, but you probably felt a little pressure because, right, you saw people around you with jobs and you had offers, but you said no. How did you manage that pressure?
Yeah, to be honest, every time I said no, I would freak out after because I'm like, oh my God, that was your only chance. And maybe that was it for you. And you could have done well, maybe you could have tried. And just my mom would be like, I'm tired of you. You're returning to every job. What's wrong with you? My brother would be like, just pick a job. You're fresh out of college. You don't know what you want. Just pick a job. And yeah, there was a lot of pressure, but like ultimately, I think I made the right decision, and I'm learning so much in my program. Like this is an associate development program with S&P, and like in this program, you get to learn about in this division, the market intelligence division, you get to learn about like the platform as a service that we sell, and like, you know, just like different, it's so much. Like I learn how to like search for information, and so like there's a research aspect to it, but like also like how to, you just become knowledgeable in finance in general, like how to search for information, how to maybe help a client with their Excel spreadsheet. You get to like do math calculations and just a bunch of different things, and so it's very well rounded.
Okay. So then let's talk about finances a little bit. We won't get too personal, but how have you managed money? You know, do you have savings you plan for?
Yeah.
You know, how do you do that? Do you have a car you're paying for? Like, how's money working? How do you manage your money?
Yeah. So I think one surprise for me was, you know, realizing that you're not going to get paid like a lot when you first started. I thought, you know, because I saw the statistics and it was like the average College of Business graduate gets paid 50 or 60,000. I was like, yes, you know, I'm going to be rich, but that's not necessarily the case for everybody. So I think for me, with apartments being very expensive in Charlottesville, I take the time, not like I don't spend money as much money as I used to in college. You know, for example, I'm like, okay, I'm happy to let's go shopping. No, I don't do that anymore. If you're happy watching Netflix, you'll be fine. You know, and just like try to save every single penny. Like, for example, if I go grocery shopping and I don't eat the food this week, then I have to eat it next week. Like, I'm not going to throw it away. You have to save the money. And like, you know, I think now we're in the real world, and like this is life, you know, and you have to save for like a mortgage or like, you know, a house and like other important things that will come up in the future.
Okay. And then, so let's talk about lessons learned since you graduated. You've already shared a couple that are great, but any other sort of lessons learned, things that you're like, oh, I wish I had done this versus that since you left JMU? Any other sort of lessons you can share with the people that are about to graduate or just graduated yesterday?
Yeah. I think I'd say maybe this is a word of advice. Like, don't be discouraged if you still don't have a job. Like, not everybody's gonna have a job, and people might have jobs. Like, I have friends that had jobs way before they graduated and like have switched to different jobs, you know, completely moved out of the business field. And so don't be discouraged if you don't have a job by now. Like, your time will come. I hate it when people told me my time will come, but like truly your time will come, and you will do well, and you will get something that you would like. And also, if you don't necessarily have to apply for a job in the field, in your field of study. For example, if you did political science, it's okay, apply for the finance job. I'm sure you can do well if you try.
Okay. So then let's talk about friendships a little bit. How have you stayed in touch with your friends, kept those relationships going? How have you made new friends if you've been able to?
Yeah. So it's interesting. In this time of the pandemic, you don't, you know, I don't even see my friends, to be honest, from college. I haven't seen them or like been in person with them, but I've been able to communicate with them over Snapchat and social media. But I had a lot of friends at JMU, and this may sound surprising, but like I don't know where most of them are. You know, they're off living their lives. And so that's one thing you need to know too. Like, you're not gonna like do life with all of these people you met. You know, you might keep a few around. Like, I only have maybe not even up to 10, you know, that I'm still in contact with and like are still really good friends with.
Okay.
And I'll say making friends now is very difficult because everybody is either home or like busy with their life and like work. You know, this is not like college that after class you can go and hang out. Like, there's no time. You work from 9 to 6 and then like you're already tired until you want to go to bed or like do whatever you have to do. But I'd say the biggest way I've made friends is through social media and it's like church. Like, you know, join a what do you call it, fitness class, like go out, take a walk, talk to people, volunteer. There's so many ways you can meet people.
Yeah. Okay. So then this sort of ties into that. What would you say are the 3 or 4 biggest differences between JMU life and post JMU life?
Wow, the 3 big differences. I'll say not everything, in college, everything revolves around college, like you plan everything around like college. Okay, I have a class and like I have to do this and like, that those specific things. But like in life, yeah, this is life. In what we're in life now, you have the freedom to, plan life as you want it to be, if that makes sense. Like you get to choose what you want to do. You can wake up and decide you're going to go to work or not, and like no one's gonna come for you, but there's consequences for that. And let's see, it might not be as fun, in college, even if there were times where I didn't really want to go to class, but I knew that like if I went, there are people that are funny and we're gonna crack jokes and laugh and do all these things, and get to like enjoy the class, even though I didn't necessarily want to go. Here in the real world, there's nothing like that. Like you have to motivate yourself to do things, and you have to like try, else you're gonna be behind, and no one's gonna, like for example, if you don't show up to work, your manager's not gonna say, why didn't you come to work? Like, no, that's not gonna happen. Like you have to encourage and motivate yourself to like do better and be the best.
Yeah, I love it. All right, my last question. You're speaking now directly to the class of 2021 who just graduated this weekend. What you've already given some great advice, but what other advice would you give to them, personally, professionally, any other area? What last sort of words of advice you want to leave with the class of 2021?
I think I would want to congratulate them. I know everybody's doing that, but like, no, seriously, like they have persevered through a very difficult time, something that we've never, like in our lifetime, we've never seen this before. And like they still like stuck to it, went to class, did the homework, excelled, and like showed up again when campus was open and graduated. And this is especially for the what do you call it, transfer students. I am so proud as a transfer student myself. Like this is difficult, and to do this in a pandemic is like times 50 difficult. So congrats and well done. You've done amazing. You've done something that most people couldn't do. And like for some people, they graduated in 2 years. Congratulations. That's amazing. You've done amazing. Go and just, keep killing it.
That's great. Well, that's all the questions I have. Anything else you want to add, or any other perspective or anything you want to share with anybody?
So I don't know if you remember this, but one time I asked you what your favorite quote was. And I'm going to ask you again in case it has changed.
Well, that's a good question because I have a lot of them. They're up here on my board. I'm actually going to I'll go back to what I actually told a student. I didn't know I told them. It was like 10 years ago. Yeah. And she got back in touch with me recently as she finished law school. And she said to me, I lived my law school life based on this one thing you told me once. So it's actually my quote. And it was, you won't get what you don't ask for.
Oh yeah, I've heard you say that.
Yeah, and she really was driven by that. She pushed herself and she asked to get access to a faculty member who everyone was afraid of. Mm-hmm. And that faculty member ended up getting them lots of other access to things later in life, including some really amazing opportunities in different districts, in the country, and different judges. And she was like, every time someone told me I couldn't do something, I, in my head, said, you won't get what you don't ask for. So I think that so many times we're like, oh, I'm not qualified, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. I think we've got to make someone tell you no. We need to stop telling ourselves no.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing that you said that and didn't even realize that you were impacting her life positively in that moment.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the time. Again, we're excited to have you be the final alumni rebound talk of this year. Thanks for what you've done. I appreciate your story. I think it will really help others. And again, thanks for making the time to be with us, and we will hopefully see you back on campus sometime in the future.
Yes, in the fall, please. We need our graduation. We have to have it.
Don't worry. We talked about that today, actually. So we will definitely be in touch soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.